दयार इश्क में अपना मकाम पैदा कर, नया जमाना नए सुबह शाम पैदा कर। खुदा अगर दिल फितरत शनास दे तुझको, सकूत लाला गुल से कलाम पैदा कर। मेरा तरीक अमीरी नहीं फकीरी है, खुदी ना बेच गरीबी में नाम पैदा कर।
Welcome to Bebus Channel's English section. I'm Imtiaz Patel Varediawala, and I'm one of your hosts of this English section. As you know, that Bebus is brought to you by the Community Media Centre Bolton, UK, and as the name suggests, that within this program, we tend to focus on issues which are currently relevant and important as far as the society is concerned. So today again, we are going to discuss one of the most relevant and one of the most topical, interesting and a quite worrying kind of subject, and for that we have invited the guest in the studio, which I shall introduce in a minute. We are all aware of refugee crisis faced by the countries in Europe at the moment particularly. Unfortunately, thousands of people have been displaced in the Middle East because of the wars and conflicts. These people are living in a very miserable conditions, and it seems that they have nowhere to go. The most tragic situation is that these refugees includes a large number of women, elderly people and children. So basically they are very, very vulnerable people. And the horrible and shocking image of a Syrian child swept away by the waves of the ocean has really moved the world recently. Now, this is not the time to talk about the causes why this is happening. We have some ideas, but maybe we will have another program to discuss the causes of these kind of situations. But at the moment, one thing is clear, that whatever the factors or whoever the people responsible for these kind of situations, we call it, this is sheer madness. As a human beings, our first and foremost duty is to help and provide aid to these needy people. We believe that any small aid will go a long way in comforting the unfortunate people who have lost everything. We want to see that in spite of the material lost they have suffered, they should not lose faith in mankind. At Bebus, under the leadership of Sabz of Iqbal Urdu Foundations, which is the organizations behind this campaign and behind this aid help, we decided to make a modest contribution to do some relief work undertaken by hundreds of charities and kind-hearted people all over the world. We made an appeal for help, and the response was and is tremendous. We thank all the people who have contributed generously in response to our appeal. And as I said, under the leadership of Sabz Khan, a small team of Bebus and member of Iqbal Urdu Foundations and other many volunteers from the different sections of the community are planning to go to Calais in France on 2nd of October to distribute these items to the victim. We want to go to visit these victims, not only to distribute the items, but also to say kind words to them and make them feel that the world and we do care about them. This is the main purpose of our journey. It's a modest effort, but we want these unfortunate people to feel that they are not alone in this crisis, but a lot of people, good-hearted people, stand by with them. We are not going alone, but at the same time, we are taking sympathies and good wishes from the people from the Northwest and of course from our listeners and viewers as well. And we are hoping that when we come back, we would give you a first-hand encounters of the situations and maybe a report, or maybe we would invite other members of the community and have a proper debate as to what we can do in order to really maintain and keep up to cope with this kind of crisis. So as I said, it is my privilege and honor to welcome Sabz Khan. Her proper name is Sabina Khan, but she is known within the community as a Sabz Khan, British-born Pakistani. She is a lecturer in further education, accountancy and business. She is a poet, she is a writer. She has published at least, if not two, more than 3-4 books on various subjects. She is a radio broadcaster, artist, and more than anything, Sabz Khan has got a very strong feelings when it comes to community services, and social services. So, as I said, under her leadership, this delegation is going to Calais, excuse my pronunciation, which is in France. Maybe Sabz will explain us a little bit more. So, welcome to this program, Sabz, to talk about this refugee crisis and this project you have initiated. So, could you describe what really moved you about this human tragedy?
I think, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for allowing me to speak to the members of the public and raise awareness on this project, and really to raise awareness on the situation that's occurring in Calais at the moment. What really moved me was actually being a radio broadcaster as well, and I'm hearing of public and how the public is responding to the crisis, the situation that we hear about in the news, and we hear of the devastating situation that normal individuals have been put into, or the situation that has led to this crisis. And without going into the political reasons behind what's happened, I think the humanitarian instinct kicks in and we respond to seeing what can we do to make a difference. Now, firstly, we rely on a government response, which is a democratic response. And I think that response failed, and members of the public felt that it failed. And I actually personally felt that it failed, because I'm thinking, right, okay, as a country, there's an X amount of work, relief work, that your country can do because they represent you. You give them your vote, to carry out work. They have pots of money, funds, but an immense amount of work is done by charity organisations and by individuals, general members of the public, who get up and use their own initiative and use their resources to say, what can we do? And then when I started to have a look around and thinking, actually, if we're working professionals, we can utilise our resources and we can utilise our links, and we can respond to this. And if I wait to see, right, okay, I can grab a few things together and pass them on to another aid agency. But then within communities, I found that communities wanted to respond and communities wanted to take ownership for the work. They actually, our people feel that when they want to give donations, they actually want to know that that donation didn't go in someone's pocket. It actually went on something. So if you can see a real example of that work being done, conducted, then people are going to be happy with that. And I personally was happy with that by making sure that my aid or the contribution that I do, it doesn't just stop at me handing a bag over. It's actually something that I physically feel that I can, undertake and utilise my mind, my physical ability, and within my working professional capacity, I can utilise that, and I can say, you know what, let's get a team together and let's generate these resources. What does it take? Let's look at what their needs are. These are normal individuals who are probably from really good professions or from all walks of life, and they've been pushed onto this place, which is literally a jungle, with nothing but themselves as individuals. So they need everything. They need all the human rights, all the things that a general individual needs. So, and then I suppose I was quite emotionally touched by not only the boy Aylan, who was left washed away on the shores of the sea, but also by every individual who was running away from that chaotic scene. And the response that, people are shutting doors on them. And then we have a border in our country here, on the border of UK, and that's our first closest border, Calais, which is in France. So you're getting over from here to Folkestone, and then from Folkestone going over by, you could either go by ferry, or you could go by Eurotunnel and get over that way, and then you get into Calais, which is on the border of France. And they're just off the motorway, so people are left there unaided. So then I thought, you know what, I want to aid them, I want to help them, by aiding them. So I utilised my resources, and we've got up to here.
I think you have partly answered the question which I was going to ask you as a second question, that at what stage then, because obviously you have described your personal kind of experiences, how the entire situation has moved you to come to this decision that, a delegation should go from the Northwest. Under your leadership, and obviously backed by the Iqbal Urdu Foundations and Weaver's team. But after that emotional kind of encounter, at what stage did you decide to raise aid for the refugee? At what stage you said, now I think, I've gone through this emotional roller coaster, something needs to be done.
Yeah.
And what was the final kind of push in your heart saying, right, let me just go out and get something for them?
Well, obviously, everyone has a job. You have a full-time job, don't you? And my job in education starts at the beginning of the academic year. So come 7th of September, first of all, 23rd of September, 24th, when we done results day, and we took on board a number of students on a programme. And then after that, the term started on 7th of September. So I started this new job in a college, and at the back of my mind, I was aware of, what was going on around the world, and the fact that, we should respond, and I wanted to respond and help aid this. And at the same time, I had this company, which is a community interest company, Varediawala Foundation, that was response to what the community wants. Yeah. So, and it hadn't undertaken a project as of yet. And then it came contract signing day. So for the 7th of September, that Friday, I was supposed to sign over a contract, and I just couldn't do it. So I declined the offer for that job. And then the Monday, started planning for this. Well, actually, I started planning on the Friday. I secured myself from the Oldham's Business Chamber Centre. I secured myself a unit in which I was going to start raising the aid. I made a few phone calls, and then Monday I went and signed the paper for the secure unit, and then went around and approached all the local businesses. So from the 14th of September, I started collecting. So we've gone in about, and then after 8 days of getting businesses to say we're going to give aid, and then shifting that aid from where they want to give it to the unit, and then after that the sorting process in which kicked in. We started it off on my own. I've got the aid there, and then luckily we had some really kind, generous volunteers from the community who I didn't know before, but they came forward and they really actually helped me get to a stage. Whereas a day before Eid, we finished doing all the sorting out. So alhamdulillah, we've got like probably 2 vans full if we include then the food and things that we're going to be taking as well. And we've got a little pot of money as well. So yeah.
So basically the response has been overwhelming.
Yeah.
But when you started approaching people that you need contribution in whatever shape and where they would like to make, what did you say to people, and then what did people say to you?
Yeah, well, firstly, when I went in my local community, because obviously then people, they know you and you have some face value, and then they go off your reputation. And then obviously I've got this company, a community interest company, Varediawala Foundation, and I approached them. I introduced myself, who I am, what I do as a profession, and then told them what I intended to do, that this is a project that I wanted to do, and if they had any dead stock or anything unwanted that would possibly aid refugees. And you know what? The response I got from them, alhamdulillah, was so good. They didn't give me dead stock. They actually gave me livestock. So they were taking things off their shelves and saying, right, okay, you want this. Where's your van? Where's your team? And at that time, I didn't have a team. So I thought, I didn't have a team and I didn't have a van. And I said, I've got a car, and they said, well, all our stuff's in boxes and your car's not really going to take any, boxes. And I said, Uncle, can you put it in bags? And then I can fill the car up with the bags. And he said, okay, fine. And then I took times from them, so some people gave me stuff on the day. Other people gave me stuff in 1-2 days. So I was doing a call back. And then I just responded to that, and I dropped the kids off school, go to these businesses, fill the car up, go Oldham, go and drop all the stuff off, and just filling the unit, taking everything off their hands. And there's so much stuff that I didn't even manage to take from the business. But the point is that, alhamdulillah, our business people, they all appreciate the kind of stories that people were telling me. That there was a worker in one of the shops, and he was a Syrian refugee himself. And, he was saying, are you helping Syria? And he could barely speak English. And he was really happy, the fact that we were aiding them, and our community people, if alhamdulillah, they're in secure business positions. They were very generous. If they couldn't provide us with physical resources, then they provided us with money, so. Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Biba's English section program in conversation with. My name is Imtiaz Patel. We have a guest in our studio, Sabz Khan. She's quite familiar face to Biba's viewers and listeners, because we already had one program with her as a poet and writer. But today the topic is slightly different. We are discussing about refugee crisis, and Sabz under the kind of auspicious blessings of Iqbal Foundations, leading a delegation to help refugees in Calais. So we are in conversation with Sabz. If you have got any feedback, any questions, or any suggestions, please do call us in our studio number, which is UK 01204 435 825. You can always visit our website as well. So, Sabz, the next question, coming to an end to our conversation, is you are prepared to go to Calais with your team. What do you expect to see there?
Well, the normal people, I don't think people shouldn't be scared of, of what they're going to see, because what you're going to see is normal people. These are people from normal professions, families, single people. Yeah, but now they no longer have a roof to live under. So there is going to be an element of panic because there's because the response that they've got from the police, from the border agencies, from the government has not been a very welcoming one. So there's borders, we hear that stories where they've been fired with tear gas. So there's probably going to be a little bit of hostility if we were going to them cold. We're not going to them cold, we're going to them with aid. And I think that's something that they're going to welcome. And there are people out there already that are working to have some kind of organisation and some kind of procedures, some kind of way of helping and doing that distribution. So alhamdulillah, inshallah, we're going to work with them. And so I'm expecting a good response, and what I'm expecting to do is get a story from everybody, because every single one has got a story. And I want them to write it down. Doesn't matter what language they write it down in. We can interpret that when we come back. Yeah, and then we can see, okay, how can we move forward with these stories? How can we move forward to helping these people?
Nice one.
Yeah.
So I think again you have partly answered my question,
Okay.
which is the last one, but not least, that after you return from refugee camps of Calais,
Yeah.
how are you planning to share your experiences with the listeners and viewers, with viewers, and what will be the next step? Is it going to be one-off, or are you hoping to have some kind of continuity in order to kind of offer whatever aid and support you can to these wonderful people?
Well, I'd like to think that it's not going to be a one-time wonder. Yeah. I'd like to see that there will be some kind of follow-up to this. One approach of mine will be all the stories that we collect from them, because it will be documented evidence. I'm going to present this to the House of Parliament. Yeah, so I'm going to be presenting it to the House, so there'll be a political aspect to it as well, to put pressure on them, because what we would have gone and done is, by going out there, is build up a pressure group. And that pressure group will help them in their crisis situation, and I will head that once I've interpreted what their needs are and what their situations are, so that we can talk numbers, we can talk about individual cases, realities, and I can forward that politically. Secondly, from a humanitarian point of view, in terms of providing them aid, I think inshallah our communities give a lot, and it only gets bigger and better. So next time, if this time we're taking two vans full of aid, next time inshallah we'll have more vans of aid, and we'll know what to expect on the other end. So, we'll respond to that. And personally, I think it's going to be a real eye-opener, because not everything gets through on media. And, it's like, they're like little things that I want to do. Like, I want to make sure, are the children okay there? I don't want to see children with, like, dirty faces. I want to, like, tidy them up, help comb their hair, and, do little things like mums do, for their children. But I'm sure their mothers would like to do that as well, but they haven't got the resources. So I want to give them resources, and I think by providing them the resources, we're kind of a little bit going to restore their dignity. We're going to try to give that back to them, spend some time with them socially, whether that means sitting down, having a laugh with people, cooking food for them, food that we take, cooking for them. If we in our comfortable positions, miss a meal, or you don't have any toilet roll, or you'd run out of toothpaste, all hell breaks loose. You think, oh God, didn't anyone bring any toothpaste? Or, this has run out, that's run out, and everything there has run out. So, hopefully, inshallah, we because we're in a stable position, our mind is working, we're able to use our skills to help those people. And I think that's really what I want to do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Last but not least, very briefly and very quickly, I know this is not the right time, as I said in the beginning of my introduction, that we are not here to have a political debate about the causes and who is right and who is wrong. But equally, I think it is inevitable for me to ask this question: that do you think that civilized world has failed somewhere, somehow, either politically, economically, socially, or whatever you would like to make it. And because you have a sound educational background, you've got political experience, you're a writer as well. If you have to convey one message, what that message would be, that how civilized world and everybody could have avoided the situation.
Oh, I think 1920s had a lot to answer for, because 1920s was when borders came into act and this country started separating themselves and having borders. And I think what insaniyat, which is humanity, rises above that. It doesn't see that. It doesn't see borders. We see people. Yeah, we see people, and we see good situations and bad situations. And I think that's the message to everyone. Forget nationality, forget status, forget your comforts, and look at humanity and respond to that need. Respond. If you're in a good situation and someone's in a bad situation, respond to them, because God forbid, that could easily happen to us. We could be in that situation, and I'd like to think that other people would hold that same mentality and respond to us if we needed help.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
well, thank you
thanks.
very much, Sabz Khan, for coming to our studio and sharing
Thank
this
you.
very, very valuable and meaningful information. Ladies and gentlemen, this is we were talking to Sabz Khan about the delegation going to Calais, France, to help the refugee people, particularly working with elderly women and children. Some very interesting and thoughtful experiences and points Sabz Khan has raised. So this is Imtiaz Patel, English section Beavers. We would like to thank you for listening, and thank you for watching as well. And do support this cause. Do ring us on the number which I have shared with you. And hopefully, if you would like to share your opinion, or if you would like to become a part of this project, you can also come and talk to us as well. So on behalf of Beavers, we would like to wish Sabz Khan and her team and the Iqbal Urdu Foundations, first of all, Mubarakbadi, congratulations, and all the best for the effort they are making to minimize the suffering of these needy people. Thank you.